What would you say about memorizing answers? Like people read a ton of things. Like maybe they watch our YouTube
Yeah.
video and I would give a sample answer and Alfred would give a sample answer to just illustrate something, and then people memorize it and they want to replicate that, or they read something on the blog, memorization. What would you say about that?
Well, I think that can be a difficult thing, right? So that's why we do, that's why you need to do some mock interview situations, because and not just memorize. So what I try to do from a standpoint of public speaking or presentation is, I don't personally write out. This is my style. I don't write out my whole speech. What I'll do is I'll put bullet points of topics that I want to cover, and then I'll let the conversation go from there. Okay,
that's right.
So let's say they ask you why park. Okay, I have 3 points that I know why I want to choose park, and talking about, okay, I want to talk about affordability, or I want to talk about personal attention, I want to talk about diversity. Okay, those are the 3 points.
Yeah.
But I'm not writing out exactly the answer, right? I'm just saying, okay, here's what I want to cover, and talking about, again, specifics, but you're not memorizing a speech in that sense. So
yes,
I think that's one thing I suggest is, when you're doing that, because it can be tempting just to write out everything and then memorize it, but that's not, I know that some educational systems, still promote that in the educational setting, but in the US, it's important to note that it's not like, most of our classes are going to be interactive, project-based learning, practical-based learning. They're not asking students to memorize facts and figures by and large, right? So that's, again, education system, you have to learn about that in the US, is that in the classroom, that's not, and it comes out in the visa process as well. Like, they expect you to articulate your goals, articulate why you want to do what you want to do, in the context of a classroom, why you want to present your points in this way.
That's right.
So, and it's a challenge because there's AI and there's lots of things, right? Yes. But the idea to critically think and to express oneself plays itself out, right? So I think that's an important thing. So I think memorization, I know that students tend to want to do that. But I would encourage them to just take a blank sheet of paper and just write some bullet points and go from there, and then practice as well. So
that's right.
That's kind of my advice.
I like that. I like that. I remember telling a few students, don't think in terms of all the words that you need to say about a particular thing, but think in points first. Like, think about what point do I want to get across, and then later on find the words to express those points. And I think you said it in a much eloquent way, and I hope that students really get the idea over here. The other thing that you just pointed out is, like, being so afraid to be informal with the visa officer. Like, you actually said you encourage students to maybe determine what's going on, but also ask the visa officer a few questions, like, how do you like it in my country? Like, how's your day going so far? Maybe I like your shirt or something like that. What's the importance of trying to be informal versus, like, super rigid and so scared, and what's the importance of that in your opinion?
Well, I think because you have to understand US culture a little bit, because we generally have a very informal style of interaction in a workplace setting. So it's not as structured as some other contexts. So think of it like that. It's not we're not in a formal lecture hall, and things of that nature. It's an informal setting, in the sense that you're having an interaction with the individual. So I think
that's right.
That's just something that need to keep in mind as they move forward in that interview. Because but I do encourage students to dress professionally. Whatever professional attire looks like in your cultural context is what I recommend. You can wear African formality, African attire as well. That's fine, but you present yourself as that you prepared, okay? You don't have to be perfect. I wouldn't necessarily go suit and tie the whole thing necessarily, but some students feel more comfortable with that. Do what makes what you're comfortable with. But, I think be professional. You can be professionally looking, but at the same time, be ready just for more informalities and informal kind of interaction per se. Because again, they're going through so many people every day and stuff like that. So I think that's and they see this. You can think of the same answers they get over and over and over again.
Yes, I like that. So it's important, if you're a nurse, dress professionally. If you're a doctor, if you're a police officer, whatever, like dress professionally. And professionally might mean multiple things, definitely, just like Kevin said.